Welcome Raiders to another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in this one we're going to be talking about Tag Team Arena and how to dominate in this area of the game, right? Now Tag Team Arena has not always been amazing like for the community. We've always done it as like a side thing, but it is very important. It's not like the Great Hall that will give you like full this out and give you affinity bonuses. It's not like Live Arena that gives you like area bonuses, but it's mainly still important to get because most people want to be able to buy free energy, free shards, sometimes get yourself refresh accessories or some avatars or maybe some charms, maybe an extra Lego book, an extra sacred. The cost definitely should be adjusted, but how do you actually dominate in this, especially because the Ramantu and some other things might block you. People are like, man, I'm stuck in silver, can't get Ramantu because I can't progress these missions because I can't go higher, right? So then this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Me personally, I've gone to silver 4 multiple times just to prove that you can get back to gold 1. As you see, I'm back here. I've probably dropped at least 20 plus times to silver 2, and I've got all the way through all the madness of silver 4. If you understand what silver 4, you'll understand how crazy try hard it is in those defenses, right? So let's think about the first thing when it comes to Tag Team Arena. That is going to be that this content is very similar to Classic Arena, right? This content right here. You're basically going to be building 3 teams of 4 people, and you're going to be building them to go against your opponent of 3 teams of 4 champions as well, right? You might think to yourself, man, I don't have that many champions. Like, how am I supposed to compete with like 3 go first teams, right? Well, you're most likely not going to have that much gear, especially if you're early to mid game, to be able to go 3 speed teams. Most of the time, you're going to build 2 speed teams, and you're going to build 1 go second team. Or if you really don't have good speed, you're going to build 1 go first team and 2 go second teams, right? So let's talk about some archetypes before we get into the nitty gritty. I wanted to talk about the first thing. If you're going to be how I became official CC in Raid Shadow Legends is I actually did a video about this years ago, and I won 2nd place, and that's how I became officially a Raid Shadow Legends, as you can see, content creator. But that wasn't what I was trying to post. I was trying to show this real quick. My bad. But we need to go first. We need what's known as an archetype, right? A booster. And as you can see here, I have gotten all the archetypes for you on this offline notepad. What is a booster? It is a champion that focuses only on speed, sometimes speed accuracy, sometimes speed resistance, but for mainly speed. And we're going to be giving turn meter to other champions that are allies, right? By 30%, 20%, whatever they give, and usually come with speed lead auras, which would help. And we're going to use gear sets like speed, divine speed, perception, swift parry, whatever you have, protection. There's a whole bunch of new ones now, right? Can you build stone skin speed champions? Yes, but you're not going to see that unless you're endgame. So the average player. So what are we talking about? Champions that can do that. For most people, let's be honest, for most players, you're going to be trying to use your Arbiter to go first, right? You're going to most likely going to use her for the speed lead aura, and you're going to be using the A3 Mentor of Heroes to then boost your turn meter of your champions to get turn meter boost, increase attack, which is going to help out for the nuker. Now, okay, we've already boosted once, right, with Arbiter. Let's say our champion's like 300 speed. Right, and we finally beat our opponent. They're like 280. You can't see that. You kind of find out just in game, unfortunately, right? You can't see that beforehand. But you're good to go first. What are you boosting? Okay, then you have to make a whole team. Well, we're not just going to boost champions for no reason. We would need someone to go after the Arbiter and do some other specific role, right? Of course, we're going to have a booster and we're going to have a nuker. That's how you win, by nuking your opponent down. Now, you could debuff or kill them by burns or poison, but let's be honest, nowadays that's very rare. Very old school Raid, like 2019, 2020, 2021, you could probably poison your champions completely, the enemy champions, or burn them, right? And just watch them slowly die. Now, of course, you have the new end game strategies of that, like Cavalax and Nell, but let's be honest, most players don't have those champions or those type of end game builds. Now, the second champion you're going to want to go for as an archetype is going to be an ASDD, an accuracy, speed, defense, or damage, slight damage champion that can actually control, right? You can go with an ASDD debuffer, or let's see, I think we have also a controller as well. Yep, we have a controlling nuker. So I would probably say let's go with the ASDD for mainly, because this main role, as you can see, this champion has a specific role needing to put AoE debuffs like decreased defense, weaken, strips, lockouts, anything of the sort to basically hinder our enemy champions from doing stuff to our champions, right? And keeping essential debuffs extended, things like that, right? So what do we want? We want, of course, accuracy is the most important on them, so we want to make sure we land our debuffs. Then speed. Why speed second, not first? Because if you go first, you might go first in front of the Arbiter. You want the Arbiter to go first to boost this second person, which is the debuffer. What are some good debuffers that most people are going to have? If you're early to mid game, you might want to go with like a Deacon Armstrong, right? This is a very good champion that if you don't have Arbiter yet, you can do two roles. He can be your booster, and he can also be your debuffer at the same time to boost up your own allies and then extra turn, right? And then into that decreased defense to help out for your nuker, right? Or you can build another booster to go with him, like a Seeker. You can have Seeker Deacon or Gorgrab Deacon, right? This is more free-to-play epic strategies to help yourself out. But what are some other good debuffers? Like, especially non-legendary. We have some epic ones like Madam, right? Madam is a good champion that can remove all buffs from our enemies and then put decreased defense to help our nuker, right? So you basically want that as your second champion, or you want a lockout champion. Champions like maybe let's look for like a epic version would be like Basher, not like a legendary warlord, Yumeko or Fabian, but maybe you have a Basher. Basher's a good epic champion that can actually lock people out. This is what you want in the second role, either a debuffer or a lockout champion. But let's say you don't have any other champions like another stripper or another buffer. All you have is a lockout and a debuffer. That's fine. You can put the lockout champion second, and then the third role, right? The third role is you can then put the lockout champion in the third spot, or vice versa, depending on what you want. I would always lock out the champs on the second spot, just in case they cut in. If your debuffer gets cut in by the enemy, at least they're locked out, so you don't have to worry about them casting skills against you. So that's why you usually go booster, lockout, debuffer, nuker. That's usually what you want to do in that order, is the most safest way. But if you don't have a lockout champion, fine. What you could do is you could bring a semi-nuker, or, like I said, right, previously, you can bring what's called a controlling nuker. You might ask yourself, what is that? What is a controlling nuker? Well, it's somebody like, let's say, let me give you an example, right? And I'll make a team right over here. So let's say we're going to go Arbiter to go first, right? And then the second one is going to be a Basher to go second. But I want to bring someone who can like AoE stun the opponent, right? What if they have no stone skin? That go first, I lock them out, they have nothing. I want to go control them, right? I want to put AoE freeze or AoE stun or AoE sleep, right? You could do things like if you have one, you could do a Kymar who has the ability to strip buffs, right? But let's say we have something a little bit more free to play. Like I said, you could go Madam if you want to strip. What you could also do is come over here, go to other effects, and go to negative, and you could remove all buffs, right? Remove buffs or steal buffs. And this will show you your champions that you have here that you can actually bring. So I could actually bring a Mighty Uko who could, once they're locked out, Mighty Uko can then go activate their A2, which is attacks on enemies. Each hit has a chance to remove random buffs, right? from the target, and then place block buffs and decrease accuracy, so they can't get buffs, right? Then in that fourth spot, you can bring yourself like a nuker. Let's say you have Michelangelo's a new nuker that everyone has, right? It's totally free. In this spot, you could bring a champion like this. And now you have the orders correctly. You have first is booster, second is lockout, third is strip or remove buffs, or control champion, maybe a Mighty Uko in a stun set, right? A stun artifact set. And then you go Michelangelo as the nuker. If, you don't have to have these specific champions. It's just the specific orders of the champions. This is important. I know this is kind of like Classic Arena, but for you to be able to do Tag Team Arena, you have to understand how to do regular Classic Arena. So you can do it, because you have to do it 2 times, and then your third team is a go second. And I'll show you what you do there. So that's pretty much it, right? Now, if we go to my teams, what am I doing? I'm going first with this team. I'm going to remove buffs with my, so I go first. I don't have a boosting champ. Actually, yeah, I lied. I do have Kaja to boost, right? She does turn meter fill. So I'm using Armons to give us that higher speed lead aura to allow my Kaja to go first, boost into either Armons or my Timid, right? And I can I can control people, right? Like I said you need to have a controlling champion. There's the Armons, the debuffer / stripper. This is the Timmy. And then I have the nuker is the Taras. If we look at the second team, once again, I have the Freya Fate Weaver as my cleanser / Terminator booster, right? I have my lead aura is the Kymar. I have the strip champion who's removing buffs, controlling them. I also have the Mikage, which can also strip, right? Or she can also remove buffs. So whichever way I need to go with that team, I have 2 options. I could use Kymar, or I can use Mikage, or I can use both if somehow I weak hit, right? And then I have Harima as the nuker because Mikage sends out Shadowkin champions. So I have 2 go first teams. Now my other team is technically another go first team, but I know that most people can't build 3 go first teams, right? So what would you do in this spot if you had 2 go first teams? You have, like, let's say Lissandra, right, in your second team, right? And you have maybe like a Lydia, right? You finally got yourself a Lydia, and maybe you have yourself in the first team you didn't want to use Madam, but in the second team you do use Madam. Now you have a decreased defense. Now you have a strips and decreased defense. Now you might be like, that's kind of weird because I'm using 2 decreased defense champions. Of course, it happens. If you don't have that many champions, you're gonna get put in this situation, right, where you kind of overlap debuffs. But it can happen. And then what we're trying to do is now bring a nuker, so we can go like Thor in this spot here, right? And now you have another go second team. So I just showed you the first one, and now you have a second one. But what if you're like, man, I just don't have the speed, man. I can't go that quick with 2 go first teams. You can build 2 go second teams. How do you build a go second team? Well, we're going to need one of these. And that's going to be what's called a pure support / reviver, right? This champion has a specific role needed for cleansing, resisting, high resist, reviving, AoE heals, while also being decently fast. Very fast if you can, but if you can't be fast, you can be in Stone Skin, or you can be tanky in protection. Some other sets as well, like Stalwart, can help you out in Arena, even though a lot of people don't use Stalwart anymore. It still can help you if you use certain people's passives, like Seeker or Kyoku. Champions that get instant effects of their passives, like, let's say, Deliana, right? If you put Deliana in the front, she will, if she does drop below 50%, she'll put strengthen instantly, which could help out your whole team survive. Or champions like old school champions like Seeker, who has this passive that basically says when you get crit, it will heal him and put an increased defense on all your champions. And depending on where you put the order of the champions matters as well. Very classic Arena information, I know. But you need to know this information if you're going to do tag, because it's basically Classic Arena times 3. So the order of your champions actually matters. Now people might think, well, why would I care where I put things, right? Like the icons of my champs. Why does it actually matter? Because when you get attacked, it actually starts from the right of the lead aura and it works its way all the way down to the left. So based on when you're putting certain champions, it's important because things like sheep debuff, things like people's passives, interactions of champion skills or relics, it matters where you put them. So it's not just about going first or going about second. It matters where you're positioning your champions, your allied champions, what they're doing and why they're there. Normally, you're going to put the reviver or the nuker in the back, and you're going to put more of the controller champions or fast champions in the front. Usually, that's how it is. All right, so let's go look at a Ghost Second team. So what are some options of Ghost Second teams? So we need to have champions, preferably. Back then, we didn't have Stoneskin, right? Back then, it was hard. You had to use very weird stuff back in the days. Let me show you one that was very, very popular. Really quickly, it was called the Four Horsemen. Why was this so good? Because we didn't have Ramontu back then. So Ramontu came out and started putting block passives, and it was countering a lot of this stuff. So why is this considered like a Four Horsemen defense, or used to be, right? Another good one would be Vogoth as well. If you wanted to go like this, let's go more free to play, right? You would go like here, and you go like this. So yeah, this is the best way, right? So why is that like a four horseman defense? Well, every single champion here has some form of passive that if you don't have Ramontu, it activates and there's nothing you can do about it. It just happens, right? Oh, you crit my whole team because you went first. Well, you activated Seeker's passive, which instantly heals him and puts increased defense on everybody. Oh, you just activated Vogoth. Vogoth, since he's in the team, he's going to heal everybody. And because he's in the back, everyone's going to take a hit and he's going to heal everyone in front. And then Mortem McCab gets hit. Cool, thanks. You're activating my Peril now, which is this nice, amazing one-shotter, basically. And Rektordrath is, well, she doesn't really get anything when hit, but when she activates her heals, she will put people in Perfect Veil, heal them good, and she has a good passive that could combo with that. And basically, this team was a good defense back in the days. But how do we make a good defense nowadays with Stoneskin? Well, you're going to want to make champions probably really slow. Except for the champion that needs to control or revive. So let's think of a really good one that I've been seeing a lot lately is going to be Lady Noelle. Why is Lady Noelle good? Because you can build her really, really quick, or you can build her really, really like decently, like not super quick, but like slow, but not too slow either, like around 250, right? And 250 is decent because you can actually build her in 2-piece Stoneskin, and you can then, revive all your champions after they're dead if they weren't block revived. And you can freeze the enemies, and you can do a lot of interesting stuff. But what's a very common one? Champion that I see a lot that's not Void Legendary, and a lot of people have her, is Ancora. Ancora, even without a Narcissus, even without the Narcissus, Ancora is an amazing go second champion, or go first, either way. Because she will revive someone with a lot of turn meter, reset their skills, if Narcissus and then also decrease turn meter of all the enemies as well, so that the champion can have a chance to take a turn. She also has this passive that basically stops like debuffs from going on them. It goes on her, and you build her high resist, so no debuffs ever land on your nuker. It's pretty insane. So you would build her in Stoneskin, right? So how do you do this? You look at over here, right? We look at the specific champ archetypes. Right, so we're gonna need, you could either go hyper resist, right? This champion's only focusing on using Stoneskin or immunity resist, or you could go pure support on an Ancora, right? In terms of that, we're also gonna need like an ultimate tank. So what would be another good thing that could help us out here to help protect our nuker and protect our support? Things like Necrit, right? Things like Ursuga, things like Kyoku. Right? These are really, really, really good defensive go second champions that can actually help out your whole team without going first, and actually give us buffs and help us out. Now, what kind of nuker would you go on a Go Second nuker team? You're going to want champions that are not attack champions, unless we're talking about like Cheshire Cat or mythicals like Siegfried. Normally, you want to go defensive nukers or HP nukers. These are the best to go on Go Second teams. So I can think of one already that everyone gets for free. Is Arix. Arix is an amazing Go Second champion. Why? Because she has this passive that heals his champion by 5% of their max HP each time an enemy inflicts a critical hit. So think about that. We have Kyoku here helping out. We have Arix basically getting turn meter and healing herself for free. We have a very strong support, right? So we're filling all these conditions, right? The ultimate tank, the hyper resist, the pure support, and of course the savage nuker or nuker. And she is, the great thing about Arix is you can build her in savage set, and she's actually a savage nuker role and a controlling nuker role. Because if you look at her A2, not only is she removing random buffs from the enemy, she's also stunning them. And she has an A3 that synergizes. And we all get this champion for free just by logging into Raid Shadow Legends. So think about that. In the long term, this champion will actually have some good value on Go Second. So when you're starting to take Tag Team Arena probably seriously, you're probably going to have that champ by then, hopefully. What are some other Go Second nukers? Of course, I'm using Harima here. Harima was perfect here because she has a passive that removes, ignores enemies' defense by 50%. And if all they have is 50% or less, they're not going to do that much damage to your team at all. So Harima is a very strong defensive, either Go First or Go Second champion. That's why I use her on Go First, but you can use her Go Second as well. What are some other good ones? Well, let's go over here. And let's look at, we can't go to stats. I'm going to go to, some other strategies that I used to remember back in the days that were very, very good to cut in was counter speed teams. So let's say you can't go first, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I can't go first, but I would love to slow down my opponent so that I could go first, right? You could do things like Valkyrie. Valkyrie has this powerful passive called Jealousy. This champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy places a buff. Enemy champions will have their turn meter decreased. Oh, so they go with Arbiter and they go first? Boom. They all lose 10% turn meter. Oh, they have a Siphi and they go first? They all lose 30% turn meter because of Valkyrie. So that can allow you to cut in, and then you can go first now. So this is an interesting Go Second counter speed team. A very good champion that was very used a lot. But now that there's Marius, is very common. You don't want to use Valkyrie. So be careful with Valkyrie against Marius. But other than that, she's still really good. What are some other Go Second good champs that you could do? I was using Emic Trunkheart. Very, very nice. Anything that has taunt. Anyone who has a passive that provokes people or freezes people. Ooh, you know what's a good one? I just thought of it right now. Ultimate UDK. He's always going to go slow, right? Everyone's going to build Ultimate UDK. Most people have this champion, right? Unless you're brand new to the game. This champion has a passive that can protect people, right? Kyoku has a good. If you're looking so far, this looks like a crazy defense, right? How do you get through? Kyoku's healing people, putting ally protection. You have UDK protecting. You have the Ancora using her passive to protect people, whoever has the highest crit damage. So yeah, imagine, you're bringing like a Stultus and a defensive nuker. Is there any good, let's say, epics, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, dang, he's showing Legos. Does he have any epics that could be really good? The good epics that I could think of that are nuker epics, not many people are using them. Most people are using like Phoenix. Back in the days, you would see a lot more epic nukers. Nowadays, since the game is kind of scaled, it's harder to use a lot of epics, in my opinion. I'm trying to see if I have any good ones. Magnar. Magnar's a very good epic. You know, people sleep on Magnar. You can empower your champions, right? Epics and legendaries. Magnar's a very good champion. He's very tanky, has the ability to stun, or if there's burns, right, you can stun. But if there's no burns, you're going to get a double smack, kind of like a Trunda, right? And he's Spirit Affinity. You do have to be careful that he's Spirit Affinity, not Void, right? Normally you want your nuker to be void or a strong affinity to the opponent's champions on the right side, so you can make sure that you actually don't weak hit. But that's a really good one that I think people remember back in the days was really good epic. You have things like Genbo, but Genbo's kind of squishy, so that's why I recommend using only a defensive or HP nuker. Magnar is an HP nuker. You could also go Skull Crown. This is pretty good too. You could build yourself a slow Skull Crown, but the problem with this is if you don't have ally attackers or if you don't have counterattack, champion's not going to do much. You know, she's just going to get her unkillable buff and then probably die afterwards. She might get one attack, but it's not going to be insane. I wonder if I have anything else that I could use. Most champions are not going to be... There's not that many crazy nukers. Like most of the nukers that are rare or epic, you're going to probably use them in PvE, but you're not going to really use them in PvP. Most of the attack nukers that are good are that are epics that are usually attack champions normally. Trying to see if there's anything else. Kaitis was a very interesting one as well. Ooh, you know what's a good one that people don't talk about? Is Deathless. I actually have a Deathless myself. She's a defensive nuker, but she gets more powerful if people are dead. She can still smack, but she doesn't smack insane until people die. So like if you lose one champion or two champions, her multipliers go up by a whole 1.0 for each dead champ, right? So she's an interesting defensive nuker. You don't see her as much anymore, but definitely one. But yes, you could use anything that you want. You can even build void nukers, right? If you have any champions like a Mithrala and you want to be funny, you could try anything like that. You can even build UDK as a nuker if you want, and like play around, and they'll be like, oh, I didn't even know it was a nuking UDK. I thought it was a defensive UDK. You know, you could do anything you want in this type of situation. I like Stultus. He's really good defensive nuker. You could build HP nukers like Taras. You can build... Oh, a He-Man would be pretty good in this one. Most people build He-Mans in Stone Skin, right? And you want a team that can put a lot of buffs. A lot of these champions, every single one that I have here as a Ghost Second, does have a lot of buffs. He-Man's pretty decent. Torment is a very good one as well. You can build a Savage Torment or a Lethal Set Torment or an Instinct Torment, right? All these ignore defense sets. This is really good. People sleep on Torment. He actually has AoEs and he has ability to steal buffs. He's actually kind of insane. Plus his passive be able to slow down those people going first. Not only is he a counter speed champion, he's also a control champion, and he also can be a nuking champion. He's 3 champions in one if you actually build him right. It's a really thick build, but it can really annoy people and screw them over completely. So I would say, yeah, Torment is probably going to be one of the best on a Go Second team, always. What are some other good Go Second? I thought, Whirlim, they buffed him up. I thought he'd be crazy, but he's still kind of missing some stuff. Newt is just more PvE. Newt's not going to be insane. Some other strategies you can do that I've been kind of working on is Packmaster. Now that we have Packmaster and we have Throat Ripper, if you want to go like a Go Second team and have like pure Stone Skin teams, like 4 champions all Stone Skinned out, you could do something like this, where champions, like you're waiting for people to attack you, and then you get something in benefit for it. So if they go first and lock you out, or try to hit you with a AoE stun like Armon's, or if they try to use like an AoE Fabian to lock you out, you get a response, right? You get a response because anytime Packmaster is attacked, you get to send out your Throat Ripper. So basically, as a Go Second team, you're going to want counterattack, you're going to want great passive buffs, and you're going to want abilities or champions that can interact without you having to click. It just happens for free, like Packmaster and Throat Ripper. So another good one, of course, that's good to go first or second is like Carnage. Another passive that says whenever an enemy hits this champion or an ally, has a 50% chance to counterattack with this skill. So you want things like that if you're going second, because your opponent can't really stop that, right? Unless they have Ramontu or they already, stun your champion or something like that. There's nothing you can do about that unless you cleanse. That's why I said always bring a cleanser, right? A high resist cleanser. Really powerful ones are Mithrala, because she can get a ridiculous amount of resistance. Having UDK is really strong because you can build him a ridiculous amount of resistance as well. Things like that. Let me know in the comments below, what do you build as a go second team? Okay, I'm actually curious. So now that we talked about how to build, like, you know, go first, go second. If you want to talk about actual like numbers, we can go deeper. I can just show you primarily on average, right? Like, let's look at my Ancora and let's look at her. So my Ancora is not in Stone Skin, but if you look at the resist, it's 619 at 277. So she's not going like insane, 350, 400, 500. She's not going insane. Almost 300. I have her in Supersonic and Protection, but you're gonna probably want her in Stone Skin. But you can just see stat wise, right? Stat wise. Let's look at my UDK. My UDK is very funny. You're gonna be like, whoa, why does his resist not at high like 800, 900? He is in Stone Skin, but I built him out as a Stone Skin nuker. That's right. As you can see, he has a 133 speed, 328 crit damage, and 6,000 defense. So he's kind of there, still has that resist. He's what you would call a resist nuker. No one sees it coming, and when it happens, you're like, whoa, I took an extra like 20, 30, 40k that I shouldn't have taken from UDK. What's going on? And that can disrupt the player, right? So different little strategies when you're going second. But if you want to build like Mithrala, usually most people use perception sets, accuracy sets, things of that nature, feral sets to get her accuracy higher so you can get more res, because she's a beautiful, beautiful cleanser. Now let's actually talk about strategies. Like, for instance, I'm going to pull up a match here to show you how do I decide who I'm going to attack with my teams. Like, how do I know which ones to use and the strategy to. So we're going to do that right now. So let's look at their team right here, right? Let's look at battle number 1. They have Mighty Uko in the lead, so that means all their champions are getting 20. If I think it's 20, or is it 24? It is 20% speed in all battles. So now I have to think to myself, okay, all their champions are basically getting 19 to 21, maybe even 22, depending on their base speed. They're getting about an average of 20 speed per champion, but it can go up and down based on base speeds, blah blah blah. So that's gonna make them faster. You're like, okay, now they're going really fast, but not insanely fast though. Their next champion is Lydia, and then their next champion is Arix, and then their next champion is Nice. Okay, so basically they're gonna go first. They're gonna try to remove our buffs with Arix. They're going to try to remove our buffs with Mighty Uko. They're going to try to put decreased defense so then Nice can block revive and kill us. And if we do kill everyone, Nice will go into his mythical form and try to bring everybody back. Boom, boom, boom. But they have Lydia, so we got to be careful, because if we try to revive, we can get an instance of our revive instantly canceled because of Lydia's passive. So you know what? I'm going to use my control team that uses Armons, because I can turn that Nice into a chicken. Right? And then I don't have to worry about Nice until everyone's dead. So I will definitely use this first team. Now the second team over here, what do they have? Okay, they have Wukong in the lead. He has a speed ore by 28%. Wow. Now that's a lot of speed. And they're gonna give it to UDK, which is not good. You don't want UDK to go fast, but it's there to help out the Rotos and the Siphi. There's Rotos with Siphi. Oh boy. Now we gotta deal with the lover duo, right? And Siphi keeps cleansing that Rotos. So which means if you're gonna be using a lot of control against that second team, you probably don't want to use that. You probably want to use Lockout, because Rotos doesn't care if he's CC'd. When Siphi's there, Siphi will always remove all debuffs from Rotos at the start of the turn if they're under the same team, which means you'll never get to stun, sleep, freeze, provoke Rotos. He's always going to go, it's my turn, and then he's going to go and do his stuff, right? So unless you have your own UDK, if you have your own ultimate UDK, you can use that against Rotos, right? You can use that to your advantage. All right, so I'm going to go Lockout there to lock out that Rotos. And in this third team, what do we have? We have Miss Orthoratrix Lamassu. I just call her Lamassu. What a crazy general name, huh? She has a 24% speed in all battles, so they have 3 leads. Right? They have another Siphi. Another Siphi. They have a 6-star Siphi, 6-star Marius, and a Comidas. Okay. This is where we have to use a certain strategy. Now, if you can go for first and 2 teams and go second and 1, that's fine. But there's also a strategy you can use in Tag Team Arena Raid. Win 2, lose 1. That's where I'm going to probably use this strategy here. And I'm going to win those first 2 matches up there, and I'm going to throw my worst team on that bottom team, because I don't think I can beat that. That looks like one of their best teams, so I'm going to throw my worst team against their best team. That way I can win 2 out of 3. And if you win 2 out of 3, you still win the whole series. You don't win the round or the match, but you win the whole series. And that's what matters, because at the end, right over here, as you can see on my defense, I won these 2, but I lost that. Doesn't matter. I still won the whole defense, right? The first one up here, I won these 2. I lost that one. I still won. So as you can see, my defense is doing pretty good. I've won 2 out of 3 so far, right? And people are attacking me. So you're not going to win all of them. Of course not. Someone's going to have some crazy mythicals. Someone's going to have some crazy champs. It's just how it is. It's fine. All right, so let's go over here. Let's actually fight this. Now, what am I going to throw over here? I could throw this team to it. It is pretty fast. It is really fast. I might still win, but who knows? Now, let's go into the match so we can talk about it. Now, this is like Classic Arena. You get to do 3 different matches, right? So, unfortunately, there's no tagging in Tag Team Arena, but basically, it's, you know, building lots of champs. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so we did go first, right? I was able to boost my champions going first, so I'm able to boost my champions and put block debuff buff on some champs. Timid looks like he didn't get it, or I get stolen by Mighty Uko. That's what happened there. We can use the A2 to steal turn meter here on Armaz, which will allow him to basically go again. Now we can sheep somebody. We can sheep the Mighty Uko, or we can sheep the Eriks. I like to look at the turn meter and look and go, All right, let's sheep this guy. Unfortunately, he had high resist, and we were able to strip, but the sheep got resisted, unfortunately. So I have 2 champions already like stunned. I don't need to use Timid's A2, which decreases the duration of buffs. I'd rather use the A3 to put increased accuracy and true fears on all my enemies. Aha! This champion was about to take a turn, but because of Timid's passive, now they're provoked. Now, I don't have a lot of buffs on my team. Taras is better with a lot of buffs, but hey. Well, A3 with Taras there, he goes, he's still stunned. Doesn't matter. Now we need to prioritize killing that champion as fast as possible. Alright, Timid can use his A2, and then I can go again because Kaja's on the team. He's allowed to go 1 more time because he gets an extra turn on his A2. So I'm going to A1 the Eriks. As you saw there, Eriks was healing a lot. She's a really good second champion. They have all Stone Skin here except the Rotos. You know why they don't need Stone Skin on the Rotos? Because Rotos can basically cleanse himself for free if Siphi's there. So why put Stone Skin? All right, we got to lock them out. Didn't I say bring lockout against Rotos, right? If there's a Siphi. So we're gonna boost up with the Ancora, and we have Ancora and Narcissus, which are a couple, right? In this situation, I don't have a lot of debuffs. I could try to kill. I could get an extra turn with the Narcissus. You could block revive if they're under 3 or more buffs. I'm probably just gonna, because the thing is, I'm just gonna A2 here. Okay, we were able to kill everybody, but Wukong's gonna come back. So let's reset our champions. We'll just A1 with there. We'll just A1 there. We'll just A1 here. Wukong should be coming back soon. We can lock out now. Try to remove Stone Skin off the UDK and it keeps getting resisted. Sag. Let's use the A3 against the UDK. Just try to blow off that Stone Skin. He got, Wukong got True Fear there. That goes to UDK, unfortunately. A1 the UDK, trying to still blow him off. Let's use the A2 to blow off that Stone Skin. Still did not blow it off. Wow, this UDK is tanky. Sheesh. Okay, and Cora's A1 actually reset the Narcissus, so I can A2 again. He finally got controlled in some aspect here. And Korra reset the Narcissus again? That's kind of cheese, I know. And then we have the Yumeko, right? Oh my gosh. Or might just lose if I don't kill this UDK fast enough. Oh, we got the lockout again. So Wukong can't use nothing. It's pretty much over. All right. And it was interesting. He had a go first team, but he was using go second champions. Just like his first one had Arix. This one had UDK. Wow. So we actually get to go first against my worst team, right? I actually get to go first. What do I do in this situation? Now, normally my mythical Mikage would go there and control them right away. Because if I can't lock them out, I need to control them right away. But there's a Marius. So I cannot switch forms because I might get enfeebled. So let's just ally attack the Siphi and try to get her killed as fast as possible. Almost killed the Siphi there, as you can see. She almost got killed. Let's boost up my champions. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, Marius went out there and cut in. He built a double boosting team. He had a Lammasu as a boosting character, and he had a Siphi as a boosting character. Unfortunately, we didn't get to cut in again, and now we're screwed. So we can just skip this battle. I still win because I won 2 out of the 3. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the Tag Team Arena. It's just a lot of classic arena. It really is. There's a lot of more intricacies in terms of like certain builds and things like that. If you want to see what I was using, I mean, I am using kind of insane stuff. Like 400 speed champs, things like that. But that's where I'm at, right? I'm in higher end game content, right? I would say what you're going to be looking for, honestly, if you're bronze, you want to push all your champions to 250 speed, your boosters to 300 speed, your nukers at 200-ish, like 205, 210. Now, if you're mid to late game and you're getting to silver, you need to start pushing your champions to 350 speed, your debuffers at 275, and your nukers at 240. If you're end game, you're gold in Tag Team Arena, you want to push your champions very fast, as you can see, 400 plus speed, even sometimes 440, 450, but I would say 380 to 400 on average. Your boosters need to be that fast. Your lockouts need to be 400 minimum. Your boosters need to be like 440, 450. Your nukers need to be 300 plus. If you don't believe me, I'll show you a debuffing champion who is also debuffing and nuking at the same time. This is a champion going at 319 speed with almost 300% crit damage, right? So, yeah, it's no joke when you get to this end game. It is no joke. Let me show you my Mikage. My Mikage is going 431 speed. It's fast, as you can see. So, these are the things that you need to look out for when you're, getting to these difficulties. Well, anyways, thank you so much for everyone watching this Tag Team Arena video in terms of how to dominate Tag Team Arena. There's a little bit more things here and there, if you ever want to know, just get into my free Discord, or you can comment and let me get a message and I'll help you out. If you guys didn't know, I am an account takeover specialist. I have been doing Raid Shadow Legends for about 6.5 years. You have my information right there. I do gear cleansing, account takeovers. I do everything. I've helped people from the lowest to the lowest, all the way to people in Gods of Legends, Mad, big clans. I've helped those players grow. I've even helped people become official content creators for Raid Shadow Legends. Anyways, if you need some help, anything, definitely, watch videos from me or from your fellow content creators doing content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And thank you, Plarium, for letting me do this video. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.